So now let's talk about how we want to set up and run the drill. It's a very simple drill. Basically, you're going to have two lines. The two lines are going to move down the field, and they're going to pass back and forth to each other. Now, within the box, you have two goalies. The best way that you should run it is you should just put the lines on either side of a goal, and then they're just going to come down the field together, and they're going to pass the ball back and forth. Now, once we get into some of the more advanced skills like the wind-up dodging and some other things, another aspect of this drill is that because you will have players use a specific hand, say a trail hand, it will teach players the idea that if I'm on this half of the field, I want to be right-handed so that when I shoot, I can wrap the ball to the middle of the field and have a better shooting angle with the eyes that are in my stick. Now, you don't always have to do this, and some of the very first things that we're going to go over will be on the field, and they won't have that emphasis to it, but it's a great way to teach players that we want to be right-handed on this side of the field, left-handed on this side of the field, so that when we are shooting, our sticks are to the middle and they see more of the goal so that we're going to score more goals. Now, a couple things about how players are going to be moving down the field. It's not like the first two players are going to get all the way down and the next players are going to start. Once the first two players get about 5 yards ahead, the next set of players will go. You can even really have them start once there's 2 yards of space, depending on which techniques you're doing. But so if it's something that requires a little more space, have the next line wait a little longer, but everyone's going to be moving down the floor together. Then once they get to this end of the floor, they're going to get back in line and they're going to come back the floor. And so this is another aspect that I really like about the drill. Do not have players switch lines once they get to the opposite side, because as they came down the floor, say we're doing sticks outside, these players will all be left-handed, but as we come back, they're all going to have to go right-handed. So if you're using this with more of a field emphasis, it really helps to make sure you're getting players' touches with both hands. On this day, we were practicing a little bit later, which is why the shadows are so long and so many balls are being dropped. But notice how as the players move down the field, the players on the left side are right-handed, and then as they come back, they will be left-handed. Now, if you have a ton of players, you can also run this where you put two sets of lines, one on the left side, one on the right side, and you run the drill like this. So this is the exact same drill, just run with two sets of players on each side of the goal. The only thing that I don't like about this is it gets rid of the possibility of shooting at the end of each rep. But with so many players, you really can't just run one set of players. Another little added way that you can run this drill is once players get down to the ends of the drill, you can actually have them just wide turn to the outside, and then the same players are going to be throwing the ball up over the players who are coming back in the middle, so that you can get some reps throwing long passes. So keep your eyes on these two players. Notice how once they get to the end, they wide turn to the outside and begin throwing the ball up over to each other. Now, if we had a lot more players, there would still be players moving through the middle of the field that they would be throwing over. Now, if you have a young team, this might not be the best idea, especially if they're not competent throwing balls over other players. And odds are, even if they are, some of these players in the middle are going to get hit with some of the passes. But it's a really great way for players to have to look through other players coming through the middle to a target on the opposite side and throw the ball up over to them. So those are the basics on how we're going to run the drill.